Hi, I'm so excited. June 1st, so second half of the year, and I'm starting a new planner, which is so inspiring to me. So making this video to share my joy with you, and perhaps you're in the same kind of state that I'm in, which is just ready to change and ready to be different, ready to do more, to go deeper into what I'm already doing, to give, to manifest is a good word. I didn't always feel comfortable with that word manifest because it didn't make sense to me, but to me it means to translate the dreams or the ideas into physical reality. And to really stay rooted in feeling that I'm here and this is good and I have so much and I've done so much, rather than, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, there's not enough in the world needs to be different, I need to be different. That sets you up for a whole different trajectory, and I've tried it, I've been there. I think it's far more successful to stay in how good things are and work from there. So I am excited to share with you. This is just still blank right now, so I'm just going to show you what it's set up like. This is not expensive. It was like $10 or something on Amazon, maybe 12. I chose it, and it came in a plastic packaging, which made me nervous because I had to open it, meaning I couldn't return it before touching the page. But if you are shopping online for notebooks, I would highly recommend looking at, I think it's GSM, the weight of the paper itself. So if a paper is really thick, like this is a loose leaf, if the paper is really thick, then it doesn't matter what you put on the front side, it doesn't bleed out to the back, right? This piece of paper, lucky I have it right here, is so much thinner. This is more like a 52 GSM, and you can see the translucence. I wrote with a 0.5 gel pen, and you can see through the page. If you are writing loose leaf paper and you're not planning to use both sides, which is a lot of the time where I am, then GSM doesn't matter all that much. It's just got like a really nice luxurious feel if it's a higher GSM. So, maybe you want to splurge on that. It's like 100 GSM is this one, but this one is like 120 GSM, which is exactly what you want for a planner. 100, 120, 120 is very nice, which is why I bought it. Meaning that you can use a gel pen on one side. Planners are always set up like this. You have to use both sides of the page, right? So you want to set yourself up with a thick planner page. The last planner, and I just put it in recycling, which is cathartic in a way, to let it go. I've been using it for over a year. It was one of those academic sets, so I had started last October, even though I'm not in school, last August, and just let it go today. It was not working for me. I tried so hard. It was really pretty. And so if you start getting into bullet journaling, which is what this is called, for better or for worse, I think you should decide, am I making an art project or am I really trying to change and make shit happen, If you get really caught up in the prettiness and, they target women with this, I don't know why, like the flowers and the colors and all of this, then there's just not enough room on the page to write anything. So I've ended up in this position many times. This is my current planner. I've talked to you about it before. This is what I use first thing in the morning. I don't really want to share what I've actually written. But these blank pages are super nice. If you like blank paper, super nice. This one is from Muji. I use this when I get back from really long walks, which is right now, and after a good long practice, which will be right after this. This is also blank. It's set up with much smaller spaces. This takes off the pressure of writing every week. Like if you're traveling, you could just, keep going when you get back. The other thing, and I didn't realize it was going to set me up for this super joyous experience I have to share with you. At the top of the page, there's a blank space for a month, right? So I put the number. It's happened twice this year already, but for example, April, right? I put 4, And then all the way down the page, Monday was the 5th, 6th, so you could write 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. It was so nice. And then when you get a little bit into the use of the notebook, which I am couple months in, I just started using these super nice paper clips. I'm a big fan of paper clips. If you're writing, this dish was a gift from a dear client. If you're writing large, small, I like to group together things. If you are highlighting something in a notebook, I would suggest using these little things called book tags. You just slide it onto the page so you don't have to ruin the writing, or sometimes the highlighters bleed through. I don't like highlighters anymore. I will use color pencil though. So what I also want to talk to you about is how I organize, right? So I told you, where did it go? I told you that this one is for first thing in the morning. I'm going to show you the cover. When I wake up, first thoughts, first impressions, so magical. Handmade, bound in Brooklyn, local. The time that things get really messy, for me personally, is in the transition from evening into kind of like nighttime. I used to just think everything's done, I don't have to do anything, but I'm a creative, meaning, I teach, I practice, I write, I'm writing different projects, I'm doing social media, I have friends and family, I have projects, I'm on the condo board now, this is the grown-up stuff. So there's just so much going on, and through the course of the day, shopping, if you had to buy things, make dinner, see people, other conversations come up, things get just so freaking confused. So that is the purpose of, for me, this one. I like the brightness of the cover. So my intent with the blankness is, of course, to write down what day it is and things that I've done, things that are my goals. It's really to reset, what is actually important to me right here, right now, and those things ought to not change very much day to day, right? Health, wellness, love, positivity, mental clarity, and different aspects that you've been working on personally, right? So I started out with a video I'm so ready to change. Whether it's organization or aspects of your personality that you want to change, things that you are learning. For example, if you're picking up an instrument, or I've been reading a lot of neuroscience again. I've been reading a lot of psychology again for the first time in 10 years. I used to work in that field. So reading a lot of the primary literature now with a big shift in my education, right? So I've learned so much about meditation. I've learned so much about living in the body. So integrating ideas means you need to come back to the core concepts and to live a really peaceful evening, to let go of the chaos, to make space. This is an idea that comes from Bruce Lee and not from Freud. The idea is to, although maybe Freud would have liked it, to unleash the unconscious. And if you're creative, that's primarily what you want to do. You can see my foam roller in the back. That's another really nice way to let go of the unconscious. You just want to roll around, feel really easy with it, let your body be free, get good breathing, roll up your spine, get a lot of good energy flow. Now you also want the mind, the brain to feel very good and organized and rooted. So these things that have been percolating during the day, you have space to really tap into what's going on. So that's what this is for. When I'm out during the day, I just started this notebook, which is blank paper and also a gift. Thank you, Damien. So I've been using this sometimes when I get writing and when I get walking and there is a lot on my mind, then it sits in the mind until it's expressed, right? This happens a lot if you're walking and if you're busy, both. So that's what I've dedicated this notebook to, and I think it's important to have a purpose per notebook if you're playing with multiple, and I'll recap this whole thing, but just you know, the color scheme is quite nice. This is why companies target women, right? The color scheme is so nice. This one, very gender neutral, very serious, and probably the most beautiful paper I've ever touched. Highly recommend, not too expensive, I don't think. The most gorgeous paper. Totally blank, super big. So this is an A4 size. A4 is what I write on when I'm doing things seriously. Like if I'm writing drafts for books, then I write this in A4. I made the mistake when I was writing my first novel, and that's why it's still so messy and, you know, needs an agent and a lot of help. I wrote it just here and there in like little notebooks, lined notebooks, whatever I had. I do not like lined notebooks. Most planners also have lines. The one that I recycled today also had lines. I find it very uncomfortable. They tell you how big to write. They tell you there's always a margin, so you can't really write to the edge of the page, which seems, you know, like a waste. I have so much to say sometimes. Also, you have to write in this direction, right? So one thing that I love about this bullet journal, to come back to this, is that they've designed it so that at the end of the month, and I'm looking for the pages that demonstrate this. Maybe it's at the end of the notebook. Yeah. At the end, they just give you a whole lot of blank paper. Oh, what is this? I don't really understand stickers. I don't use stickers. I'm not that kind of girl. Okay, so just blank. So you'll see that the dots allow you to go horizontal, vertical. You'll see on my blank notebook that I will do one on one side and one on the other. Blank allows you to go any which way. If you're more of a drawing type person, you can sketch, you know, it's a super nice thing. Although if you like to draw, you draw anywhere with anything. Speaking of anything, these are some of my favorite pens. It matters if you're writing with bullet, with dots, that your pen is dark, but also very fine-lined. If it is not dark, I do like writing with pencil in this one, which has blank spaces. I really like pencil for that. It's got a nice feel. I love my pencil, Blackwing. But if you're writing with dots, then the pencil just kind of doesn't stand out with as great a contrast as you might want, or as I definitely want. So I showed you this one before, really inexpensive. And the best thing is that it takes a D1 refill, and you can get real fancy with the refills. So I have a gel refill in this. This is not what I use for my planners. I would recommend this for the planners. I'm not sure if you can still get this on Amazon, probably. Oto is the brand. I like Japanese everything. This one's made out of brass or aluminum. Super light. It's called a needle point. So it's a ball point and it's a 0.7, but it writes super fine line, like a 0.3. If you're gonna get really fancy with that. I have a couple right here. The CW&T pens. So beautiful, right? This one's titanium. And it depends on how heavy a pen you like. It has this nice drop-down effect. It's very satisfying. This one is brass. And this part is stainless steel. This is brass. This is pretty new. So over time, this is going to change color and patina and kind of do what the Statue of Liberty has done, right? And that's lovely. I haven't experienced that yet, but it will transform. The thing about a pen that's heavyweight and designed to last forever, like this is metal, so you're not really touching plastic, but it's not designed to last for like hundreds of years. This one is, I think. Generations, they say, so hundreds of years. Is that you can really put your energy into it. You can really feel like, oh, I'm holding this, I'm writing with this, I'm expressing with this, what I'm doing is meaningful. It's going to be meaningful anyway, but to really lend your tool to your purpose, and vice versa, to give purpose to your tool. You know, this speaks to the core of humanity. We are the tool makers. We love tools. So here it is, really beautiful pen. This one is heavy. It has a 0.3 ink. It's a Pilot High-Tech C. 0.3. So this one's super nice if you're going to be bullet journaling. It's a little bit heavier and thicker than the ballpoint. So if you want a really smooth, light ballpoint fine line, I would go with this one. Last note is if you feel really, really confused about what you're doing creatively, and that was me many times, I love a system like this. It's small, it's blank, so you are encouraged / forced to be concise. Also lovely is you can write any which way, right, left, top, bottom, you know. It starts a Sunday week. This doesn't matter to me that much, except sometimes I feel really disorganized on like a Wednesday, and I feel hella awkward starting Wednesday through. I guess I don't have to now that I talk about it, but I do. It feels like you're supposed to start on Sunday. So if I were going to redesign this, I don't think this French company cares, but I would just leave the tops blank. Very nice aspect is at the bottom, it gives you space for notes. Unfortunately, it's lined instead of dotted, so it's not like perfection, but I would say it's a solid B+, very useful if you're very disorganized, like what the hell did I do today? What happened to me? I felt like that many times, like I've been writing and writing and writing for hours and like, what did I write? So at the end of the day, if you're just catching up with yourself, like this is what I did, and it sets you up for a really nice next morning, especially if you've already got a space the next morning. This is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm working on, this is what's important to me. So you've done a bunch of work, maybe you've taken a break, you've gone for a walk, you're using another notebook to organize. This is how my body is, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm working on. This is what I wasn't working on. I didn't really connect with my breath. I didn't really feel my spine. I felt distracted. Whatever you want to take notes on, this one's super nice for that. Maybe later in the day, you're out, you're running errands, you sit down, it's gorgeous weather, you sit down by a fountain on a bench, you have your easy, inexpensive pen with you so you don't care if you lose it. I mean, I would care, but like you don't take your $200 pen out for a walk, you don't. You have a little notebook, you take some notes for yourself, you organize, you have your phone with you most likely, maybe you send a couple of emails that need to get done, boom, you feel good, mind is clear. End of the day, a little confused, you're having dinner, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're looking at your regular life, you're trying to put the pieces together, you're reminding yourself, this is who I really am, this is what I'm really working on, this is how I set myself up for a beautiful evening, this is what I really feel called to do, to be, to express. So that's kind of like the bare bones of how I organize my life right now as a creative. I don't know if creatives are always disorganized and always need to be organizing and reorganizing, but that's the general sense that I get. So if that's you, hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully you feel that you have a friend. And hit me up, subscribe, drop me a comment. I want to hear from you. Take good care.